If you have type 2 diabetes and you're tired of being told it's chronic and something you'll just have to manage forever, if your A1C is controlled but your medication list keeps growing or stays the same, and you know deep down you're capable of more than this, you're in the right place. This is the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast. We're Brian Bisher and Corey Jenks, two pharmacists who spent over 2 decades inside healthcare. And we started this show because we got tired of watching capable people stuck getting managed instead of rebuilt. Here's what most people aren't told. Type 2 diabetes isn't just a blood sugar problem, it's a muscle and energy storage problem. When your body loses strength and metabolic flexibility, blood sugar rises, and you can rebuild that. On this show, we break the scripts that say more meds are inevitable, you're destined to just manage, remission isn't possible, and instead we teach you how to build muscle, eat in a way that keeps you full, and regain control of your health again. No extremes, no shame, just practical strategies to help you move toward remission and lead your health again. Let's get to work.
Welcome back to another edition of the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast. Brian and I were just sharing dad stories. And if you want to hear the Dad Stories podcast, well, we'd have to create it. So let us know if you want it. Brian, it's good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, Corey. I'm glad you survived some time with your kids alone while your wife was out of town.
Yeah, she did 2 trips non-consecutively in the same week. And we did not just survive. I think I would argue we thrived. We mildly thrived. Okay. So today's episode, if you have struggled with knowing what to eat and are on a budget like all of us are, you are not going to want to miss this, because I know we talk about healthy food and how it is actually more affordable than you think. But I actually went and pulled real prices from Walmart and did the math for you. So we're going to go over the 15 cheaper foods that help you put type 2 diabetes in remission and talk about why junk food actually isn't cheaper, even if it might appear that way. Brian, are you ready for this?
I'm excited because you have not shared the details with me, so I really want to hear how this breaks down.
Great. And so what I'm going to go through here, I looked at the 15 items. I went online to Walmart. I do shop at Walmart physically, but it's just much quicker to go online. And I looked at, you're going to hear us talk about cost per ounce, cost per pound. And what we're also going to get to at the end is a measurement that's unofficial beyond the cost per pound when it comes to what we're eating and how it affects blood sugar. Because it's, people think they're buying by an ounce or by a pound, and often they're buying a bag, a box, a meal, and it can feel cheap in the moment. But in the long run, it actually could end up being more expensive. So Brian, we're going to dive in, and it's 15 foods. So we're going to kind of go rapid fire here. And I've also included 5 bonus air quote junker foods or less strong foods. So number 1, we're going to go with the good old fashioned chicken breast. So I found them at Walmart online at about $2.57 a pound. And so that works out to, I believe, about 16 cents an ounce. And if my math is wrong, well, our listeners will let me know. So looking at a per pound basis, starting there, for a pound of chicken breast, if you ate a pound of chicken breast, which is a lot of food, it would cost you about $2.60 from Walmart.
I'm silent because I've never seen prices that low for chicken breast. So,
well, maybe it's more expensive in Ohio. You got to find them on sale. I find them on sale at my local Albertsons for at times $1 to $2 a pound. I think they're often loss leader chicken breasts, so they'll lose money. The stores will lose money on certain items to get you in the store to buy other stuff. So It does require a little bit of work, but I found chicken for $2.57 a pound. All right, so that's a great protein source, great start. Now, up next, we got
I'll say on the chicken breast, just real quick, to make it better, if it's not the most tender chicken breast, you could brine it. That's a really simple process to make it really juicy and tender and actually taste like a higher quality chicken breast. So
okay. I just put everything in a crock pot, Brian. I don't have time for brines. Sorry to the folks who listen to us from the Girl Coach podcast. I've not yet mastered brines. So all right, up next, number 2 to go with our chicken breast is broccoli, and I found it for $2.17 a pound at Walmart. So looking at about 13 cents an ounce. So again, around that $2 a pound mark, broccoli, I could not eat a pound of broccoli unless, of course, it was steamed and mixed with like cheese and stuff. But like a pound of broccoli is a lot of food, Brian.
Yeah, it is. The cheese would definitely add some flavor. You could. Yeah. I prefer a little salt roasted in the oven, but
that's my preferred method, is roasting broccoli in the oven with a little olive oil and salt. So all right, so so we're at about $2.17 a pound. Up next, another vegetable. This is cauliflower, and it was $3.50 a head. I didn't actually get to do the weight because they sell it by head of cauliflower. But again, a large head of cauliflower is very big for $3.50. And I want you to keep these prices in mind when we get to I pulled some junk food stuff too. So
you can make you can make some really good buffalo cauliflower. out of that. That's good. Good
I do
stuff.
enjoy the buffalo cauliflower. So this is Brian's the king of spicing things up, and I'm the king of like the baseline. I'm pretty good at eating the same stuff almost every day, and if when you're looking to spice it up, Brian's your chef. So,
Yeah.
all right, up next, number four, a staple, a great protein source, and I found this was an 18 count of eggs for $2.47. So we are lousy with eggs here in Tucson right now as we record this in April of 2026. In fact, one of our grocery stores, your Kroger, Brian, had a deal for 17-cent dozen eggs.
What?
So yeah, there was a huge egg shortage at some point in the last few months, and I think we've caught up. Supply has caught up to demand, and now they can't get rid of eggs fast enough. So I bought an 60 count of eggs for $8 the other day at Walmart. So
That's insane.
yeah, so this comes down to about 14 cents per egg. So, um, and I gotta apologize if the math is wrong here. You expect more from us, but the idea being like for 250 you get 18 eggs, and if you can eat all 18 eggs in one sitting, then that's about as good a deal as you can get for feeling full. So up next, another great protein source. I found cottage cheese, and it worked out based on this package size for about $2.88 a pound. So, yet again, another great satiating protein source for under $3 a pound. Remember, this is Walmart, folks. So your local Sprouts and Whole Foods will probably cost more. But I'm a big fan of you don't have to have like perfect organic everything for Remission.
No, I agree. I was gonna say, I know that a lot of these are not probably the top tier quality products, but we're going for the budget friendly and the ones like this is better. This is the example of don't let progress be the enemy of
Don't let
perfect be
no no no, don't
perfect
let
be the enemy.
perfect no 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 it's don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Great. All right. Up
Yes.
next, Brian, we have Greek yogurt, and I found a 32-ounce container for $2.88. So that works out to about $1.44 a pound. So yet again, a great protein source for this one's under $1.50 a pound.
Are you sure you're not like in the early 2000s on the shopping site with these
This
prices?
was Walmart.com accessed April 20th, 2026. So
I just am having a hard time believing it. I have like a recollection of prices in my head for a lot of these things, and it's like three times more
you're
than what
really
I'm
helping
hearing.
me make the point here, Brian. Thank you. I this is what was Walmart.com. So
Okay.
and I'll make an interlude here and say that yes, food can be expensive, and it can feel like healthy food's expensive. We're going to get to why it actually is less expensive in the long run. However, I think one of the big things that I recommend is shopping the weekly ads at your local grocery stores because you are going to find those better deals. And I promise, Brian, these prices will go up. We'll find some things that are more expensive, like number seven, ground beef, $7.43 a pound. So this was there we go. Brian's back in the room. I've got him back, folks. So this one is a little bit more expensive, and the cost per ounce coming out to about 46 cents an ounce. But I want to remember what this is when we get to the other food. So we don't. We'll be able to frame this shortly. So up number eight, if you're like I need something sweet, we got frozen blueberries, and I found a 48-ounce bag for $7.68, which works out to $2.56 a pound. So um, yes, so it's under $3 a pound for a sweet, fiber-rich, low glycemic index fruit.
Love me some blueberries, especially frozen.
Yeah, you and my kids, we go through legitimately several pounds a week from Costco's frozen blueberries. So, up next, if you're on the go and you need an easy protein source, canned tuna. This was a 20-ounce pack of tuna for $3.80. It worked out to about $3.04 a pound. So, uh, another great
Those are packed
protein
with protein. Yeah.
packed with protein, low fat, low energy, and easy to take on the go and turn into something that you like.
Just don't mix it with mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Or do a little bit,
But you
but
can do it with some mayonnaise.
tiny bit of mayonnaise.
Yeah. So, all right. Up next, we have another sweet. If you're craving something sweet, Honey Crisp apples were $2 a pound. So
Mm,
these are some of my favorite brands of apples. Honey Crisps
I
are
love
a
Honey
solid
Crisp.
choice. I didn't want to go with like Granny Smith or Red Delicious, the two least good but most ubiquitous apples when at a public fruit bowl. No, I went fancy with the Honey Crisp and they were $2 a pound. So,
That was my favorite apple by
all right.
far.
I didn't even know. I've learned something about you, Brian. I love this. All right. Up next, we have a frozen vegetable, California mixed veggies, that were $1.60 a pound for well, it worked out. It was a 12-ounce bag for $1.20, so $1.60 a pound for frozen veggies. So if we're looking for some fiber to help with satiety, that's not going to spike blood sugar, frozen veggies are a great choice. This is a trap where people feel like they have to buy fresh everything. We're in a frozen veggie season of life in our house with the little kids, so something that's easy, quick to put in the oven, frozen veggies.
Yeah, I'm on
Right.
board with all this so far.
Okay, up next, if you're craving a snack or something with your lunch to go with that Honeycrisp apple, low-fat string cheese worked out to about $4.32 a pound for a pack of low-fat string cheese. So, keeping it going here, number 13, bagged iceberg lettuce. So a bulky, fibrous option if you just don't have time to clean and cut lettuce. $2.88 a pound. All right. Up next, a quick staple for dinner, rotisserie chicken that was worked out to about $2.56 a pound. So, and then finally, canned salmon was a little more pricey. You're going to pay for those omega 3s. They're $7.42 a pound. So, a few items there that are higher, but this was 15 items I think that would be pretty solid staples for blood sugar. Am I right, Brian?
Yeah, I would say a lot of protein, a lot of fiber, very little energy. I don't know if I heard a single thing that had carbohydrates in it except for blueberries
And apples
and apples. Yeah, those are the two things that are main
have,
carb sources there. Yeah.
and you got plenty of fiber to go with them.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
all right. So, looking at some junk food comparison foods, I looked up processed chicken nuggets, and this is where they were $2.99 a pound. So, not a crazy amount of money for that. Now, with chicken nuggets, you're going to be paying, you're going to get the breading, so you're getting added energy, you're getting added carbs, probably added fat with the way they're cooked. But a reasonable budget item. So you can make an argument, Corey, this is an affordable option. I'll just go back to the rotisserie chicken. That was about 40 cents a pound less at 256 a pound. So up next, this is Doritos, everyone's favorite snack chip. I'm not going to say which. I was talking to someone the other day about Doritos, and I was like, "Yeah, Cool Ranch." And they're like, "I hated Cool Ranch." I'm like, "Good, more for me." You ever get that one
I
single?
did not like Cool Ranch. My
What?
son, dude, after a baseball game, they gave him Cool Ranch Doritos.
Hmm.
We're driving home, and maybe it's just like my palate has changed and everything like that, more sensitive to it, but it was just like taking over the car smell.
Hmm.
And I was like, this is just people eat that. You can just like smell
The seed oils
yeah,
and
yeah,
the
everything.
chemicals. It's
Yeah, the
not real
chem.
food, but
Yeah.
the when you work out the bag of Doritos using the 14.5-ounce party bag size for 5.95, it works out to $6.56 a pound. So it does cost less per pound than ground beef and salmon. But if you're looking on a per pound basis, a lot of these stronger foods are less expensive. All right. Then there's the Walmart chocolate chip cookies. And so for a 24-ounce package, they were $6, so about $4 a pound. So not crazy high, but again, you can find things that are more affordable that are going to be better for your blood sugar. 12 pack of Pepsi. This was, um, it was, they did like, it worked, it was like 12 cans and it worked out to be like 13 cents an ounce. So it wasn't like an insane high cost, but the nutrition you're getting from that is zero other than sugar. So,
Yeah.
and then finally, I looked at a frozen meal from Marie Callender's, a fried chicken bowl that worked out to $3.84 a pound. So for a full meal, 384, pretty reasonable. So I wanted to put some on here that like didn't blow the strong foods out of the water, but to give the idea that you can have an equivalent cost per pound of food, but have something that's going to be much better for blood sugar. Because that Marie Callender meal, it's a fried chicken, it's potatoes, and a little bit of mixed vegetables. So you're not getting the great ratios there for blood sugar.
Yeah, probably like 10 grams of protein or something
Hmm.
very low.
Right. So, just going by weight, a lot of junk food is actually not cheaper, and especially those Doritos. Looking at the chicken breasts that were 257 a pound, broccoli 217 a pound. But the math is going to still favor real food, even if you're getting that ground beef or salmon, because cost per pound might be helpful, but it's not totally complete. Because imagine if you ate a pound of chicken or broccoli, are you going to be full for a while? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And your blood sugar will definitely not have the hit that if you eat a pound of chips or cookies. And that might feel like an hyperbole, like a pound of chips. Come on. Yeah, they're very airy, they're very light, but they're also very easy to overeat because you can eat a bag of chips and still be hungry. So I think that it's not just that better foods are cheaper by weight, that it's that real food on like a per hunger basis is probably more affordable because we're trying to solve for hunger here. And we talk about this all the time that we can't white knuckle our way through hunger and better blood sugar if we're hungry all the time because we're going to want to keep eating. So it's not always the cheapest calories, it's the cheapest way to not be hungry.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting comparison, like looking at the cost per calorie
Cost per
versus,
satiety.
yeah, cost versus per satiety.
Yeah. And then looking at what each one does to your blood sugar. And that's not even taking into account the long-term costs of high blood sugar and the complications of diabetes. So
Yeah.
that's that's what we're trying to go with here. Because what we're looking at is that what actually matters is even if the price were the same, these foods are not doing the same job. All right, $4 worth of chips, it's a snack. You're still hungry and you're gonna be back in the pantry in an hour, if not less. But $4 worth of eggs and veggies, which like $4 bought you 18 eggs and a pound of vegetables. And that's more than a full meal. You're done. You're going to be good for hours. So cheap calories are actually pretty expensive when they don't fill you up and you have to keep eating them. And companies want you to keep eating them. Their goal, the goal is to make as much money. Doritos is, not to call out Doritos specifically, they don't sue us, but they're a publicly traded company. They have a fiduciary duty to their shareholders to make as much profit as possible. And so they design foods that are going to be overeaten and not make you full, so you keep eating them.
Yeah. Having those kind of foods at like parties just drives me nuts because there's just so much extra calories there that are unnecessary. And I'd rather have whole food that's actually going to fill people up. But Corey, what about the enticing nature of these foods? They are just, they're so much more fun looking. They require little to no preparation. And so I think that there's a real cost here. Not just, there's a cost when it comes to cooking whole food, and there's skill development that needs to be had in terms of actually preparing them so they're tasty and you want to keep eating them, right? There's that part of it too that that's what
Oh,
processed
and
food over.
there's absolutely the time cost that you do have to spend time preparing these foods. Counterpoint to that is, as I said, you can find ways to prepare them quickly and easily. A crock pot is like a cheat code for an instant dinner. You throw chicken breast, broth, and your favorite sauce in a crock pot at 8 a.m. and at 5 p.m. you have dinner. You can then put the frozen. That's why I included frozen vegetables. You can throw frozen vegetables and a bag of, in the oven. Don't throw the bag of lettuce in the oven. Throw the bag of lettuce into a bowl, and you have protein and veggies that are instantly done. I know Brian's a very stickler for salad dressing and what you put on a salad, but like if your previous meal was a frozen dinner, then we're doing so much better anyway. As long as you don't pour the whole bottle of dressing on there, you're doing great. So there is the cost, but I would argue that as a human being, having basic food preparation skills are essential, and
Yeah.
that's a time investment worth making, and finding ways to prepare them that are not complicated. And Brian, you've been at my house, you've seen me prepare meals. Like I prepare the same 4 to 5 meals every week for our family. It's almost on autopilot. It's not sexy, but it's tasty enough for our family to eat them. They're nourishing, and when our kids are not in the like demand attention phase, I look forward to getting back to actually cooking. But
Yeah.
it doesn't mean you can't cook tasty meals. And if that's something you love to do and you have the time, then you can spend more time preparing them. But our goal here today is we've got lots of questions from people asking, what do I eat and how do I afford it? And I think the barriers, Brian, is you do have to do some searching. And fortunately, because we can have the internet, you can look up 4 different grocery stores and see what's on sale. Shop what's on sale, especially for protein sources. There's always a pork chop, a chicken breast, a ground beef sale. All right. The frozen vegetables or whatever is going to make it easier for you to prepare, go with that. Like my wife and I say, we're in bagged salad season of life right now. I don't want to have to clean and chop lettuce. It's a barrier to eating it. I'm not going to do it. So find ways, find online to where it's more affordable, find ways to prepare it more easily for yourself. And then, Brian, how can we switch up the flavors a bit so that people do not burn out on these different foods?
Rotate sauces, rotate spices. That's my two easy go-tos
hmm
in
Yeah,
terms of,
like for Mexican food, it's like cumin, chili powder, garlic salt, garlic powder, onion powder, and you have Mexican. And then if you want Asian, ginger, garlic, salt.
yeah.
Um, and there's very simple ways. And you can create like the other night we made a ranch chicken in the crock pot, and the ranch seasoning, it's like salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, chives, parsley, and dill. My
Mm,
wife pre-makes it. I pour it on the chicken breast. I pour a can of broth in there. And at the end of the day, you have ranch chicken.
Yeah.
Uh, which if you don't like Cool Ranch Doritos, you might not like it, Brian.
I don't
But
like I like real ranch flavored things, just not
okay,
the
then you would like
artificially
this chicken,
flavored.
Brian. You'll have to come back out to eat it.
I'll say this. So if you're like, man, having all the spices on hand sounds complicated. I don't feel like mixing them, measuring them. I get that. I totally get that. One thing I would urge you to do, because I've done this too, is like look at where's your favorite restaurant you go to. We just spent like, I mean, sometimes it's fun to go out to a restaurant, but like you have to ask yourself this, and Rachel, I did this other week. Are we going out to a restaurant to get out of because we're lazy or because of it's like some kind of celebration? And if you put it through that filter of like, "Ah, I'm just being lazy, I don't feel like cooking," then maybe it's not the right time to go versus like maybe you just went to a soccer game or a kids game and you're going with the grandkids and it's like you're gonna sit down and have that fun food together, then that adds a layer of different like a different element to that enjoyment of that food
Yeah, it's the experience of it, not just
experience of it.
oh yeah. And for us too, like we have a little league game tonight. I will be putting frozen hamburger patties in the oven. We put them in ideally you eat at home, and if you're on the go, we put them into a cup with some baby carrots and some pea pods and peppers, and we have a reasonable food on the go, which is not ideal, ugly American here, but when you have life happening, you do the best you can. So lean into your freezer and plan
Yeah.
ahead. So we want to
But
know.
hold
Oh
on, hold on. One last, you were interrupting me. I
yeah, I
had something to
was.
say.
Yeah.
So my point being, like, do the math. Say, hey, how much does it cost us to go to this restaurant? Okay, well, it costs us like at least $60 to eat out at this restaurant. Well, at home, if I do the math, it cost me like $10 to make this meal.
Even
But
if it costs you $30, it's half as
even if it
much.
costs you $30, you're saving a lot. But like the point being, buy like splurge and buy some of the pre-mixed packets like that are really good. They're going to enhance the flavor. They're already pre-measured out for you, and it simplifies the cooking process. But it still is saving you money if it's good enough. If it's tasting just as good, if not better than the restaurant you like to go to, you can't do it on your own. So that's the point. Is like find those little pieces of the shopping that may not be the most cost effective. You're like, well, I should just buy all the spices. But actually, if it's easier, if it's going to decrease the resistance of cooking that meal, if you have a pre-made, really good taco packet to just mix in with your food, boom, that's just going to make it easier for you to do. So,
Brian, I'm glad you uninterrupted yourself. That was a good point. In fact, I went out and bought smash burger seasoning and tri-tip seasoning because I'm tired of mixing those on my own. So I'm just tired. Brian and I, we have young kids. We're just tired. And we're tired of people suffering with type 2 diabetes. So if this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who struggles shopping. This will get them going. This will get you shopping. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if we missed a food or you're like, no way, huh? What? Send us a message. We'll follow up and direct you to where we found these prices. And of course, your region of the world will vary. But and if you do your math in kilograms, well, tough luck. I'm an ugly American here. It's in pounds and ounces, baby. So this was fun to put together, Brian. And
yeah, thanks for doing this.
I know that it's been something that our listeners have been really like, tell me specifically what to buy. Well, here are 15 items to buy and 5 not to. So anything else to add before we head out of here, Brian?
I got nothing. I
All
think
right.
that was
Well,
a good episode.
all right. Well, we'll let the listeners judge if it was good. But I had fun doing it. So thanks for listening. Get out there, go shopping, find some deals, and remember, thanks for listening. Keep it simple and do what works.
If this episode gave you clarity or hope, share it with one friend who's been stuck in the diabetes trap. That's how this mission grows. One person, one family, one story at a time. And if you haven't yet, leaving a quick review helps more people find the show and realize they're not stuck with meds forever. It takes less than a minute and it means the world to us. Thanks for being here and thanks for being part of this movement toward freedom. Thanks for listening to the Diabetes Remission Roadmap. The ideas discussed here are for general informational purposes only and do not constitute medical or nutritional advice. We are pharmacists, but we're not your personal healthcare providers. Always consult your own physician or qualified clinician before changing medications, exercise routines, or nutrition plans. Results vary, and what works for one person may not work for another.